Well, just the palate cleanser one might need right now, but how much does it mean? Chelsea 7, Port Vale 0 in the quarter-final of the FA Cup, which sees Chelsea soar into a semi-final at Wembley and possibly to FA Cup glory against a team they were biblical levels of favourites. I don't know if that's English, but I'm sure you know what I'm saying. Guys, I'm sick again, so I'm sorry if I'm not running at, all full cylinders. I've been very stressed recently with some personal stuff, and also the fact how Chelsea have been stressing me out big time, and everyone's been quite understandably frustrated and emotional, and often I've been caught in the crossfire. When you're dealing with a lot of stress, sometimes your immune system drops. And this happens. So, I'm sorry I'm not at 100%, but Chelsea got a good win. It's due with that in isolation. We saw in the crowd Enzo Fernandez all smiles sitting there, the Argentine, as he of course serves 50% of his sanctions, of his suspension after the controversy and drama. Of course, Enzo, you may have seen, also posted big smiles with Willie Issa on his story, training with him with a blue heart. So maybe everything's going to be alright with Enzo Fernandez in the end. But this was a must-win game, and like I said, man, despite Port Vale being, us being heavy favourites and Port Vale being out of sorts in their league, they had a good cup run. 8 hours without conceding a goal, which is genuinely good. And of course, eliminating Sunderland just before us. And Sunderland beat us in the Premier League when we were being coached by Maresca, I believe. So Sunderland are no mugs, but of course the context here is lots of teams rotate. They went away to Port Vale's pitch, which isn't great. And we were always heavy favourites to win here. But despite that, because of the narrative, gang, because of the, they hadn't conceded in 8 hours, they had knocked out Sunderland, Chelsea, the mood around Chelsea is really negative. We're sort of kind of in free fall, 4 losses in a row, fans upset, the Enzo Fernandez stuff. I mean, to a degree, the Cucurella interview of The Athletic, which, by the way, I don't think was that dramatic. We've since heard loads of briefings about Chelsea are going to sign all these players. Apparently, we're going to sign Valentin Barco, which just seems like that was always going to happen for a while now. I'll talk a little bit about that on different videos and Chelsea news videos, but I understand how a young player that once played for Brighton, that now plays for Strasbourg, might not be getting all the Chelsea fans overexcited, but he is a very talented player. I'm not even sure if we need him, to be honest, if we need his profile, but I'll tell you now, he is a mustard footballer, but we can, provided we get other players we need. We will see. Let's get into it. All right, then. So it was at Stamford Bridge. Let's have a little look here and sorry for score for reference. Somehow, Tosin Adarabioyo, and yes, it is Bioyo, as you can see there, the vowels, and he himself pronounces it like that. One player of the match. I'm not entirely sure that's a fair reflection of what my eyes saw. But Port Vale played a 5-3-2. Didn't go well. And Chelsea played what ostensibly is initially reflected as a 4-2-3-1. Here, Estevao starting on the left, but he looked a lot better when he moved over. Starting on the left, but he looked a lot better when he moved over on the right. Cole Palmer played in the number 10. He was crowded out quite a lot. He had a goal taken away from him, which ruined an accumulator for me, and it was given as the right back's own goal, I believe. Joao Pedro up top, Pedro Neto on the right, and then Santos and Lavia in the midfield. Makes sense, totally. You rest Caicedo. I mean, to be honest, it's still a lot stronger than I thought it would be. It is a lot stronger than I thought it would be. Actually, is it though? Maybe not. Maybe we would have seen, everyone would have assumed Delap would have started. Maybe even Mark Gue in this game. We saw Delap come off the bench, Alejandro Garnacho win and then take a penalty. Asugo Ryan Kavuma McQueen, he's a really good player. Probably should have come on a little bit earlier. Josh Chiampong and the likes of Mamadou Sarr, Caicedo and Cucurella get a rest. And then we've seen the likes of Reece James and I thought Gittins was ready actually, but apparently not. It'll be interesting to hear what's the deal with Gittins. But as you can see, some high performing players here in terms of ratings. He didn't get blue like Tosin, Santos, Hato and Estevao did, but I was really impressed with Gusto. Let's have a look at his heat map quickly, because he did do a lot of, not that much inverting, but he wasn't so much a touch. He didn't have chalk on his boots. He came inside quite a lot. For those of you watching the video here on YouTube, and indeed Spotify, of course, you can search Football Therapy Podcast to get this on Spotify video if you're premium and stuff like that. You don't have ads. Or indeed, you can listen to it on, what do we call it? Apple Podcasts. Yeah, man. So Santos, goals from Tosin, Hato, Estevao, Santos, Joao, Pedro and Garnacho off the bench. Should probably take you through a little bit. This was a dominant display, of course. It was 77% possession to Chelsea. 11 big chances to the nil point. 7 goals out of 11 big chances ain't bad. Not as clinical as you'd expect, but 20 shots to their 4. Their goalkeeper made 5 saves to Robert Sanchez, by the way. I suppose you could have said maybe Gaga might have spawned in goal, but it was Sanchez. 8 corner kicks to their 2. 10 fouls apiece. And of course, we nearly quadrupled the amount of passes they managed to do. And let's have a look at the second half. Yeah, the second half is where it was at for us. Look, we created 3 big chances in the first half. The second half was 8. 6 shots in the first half. That's poor. And they had 3. So we only had 3 more shots than them in the first half. They had 1 in the second half. We had 14. So we had gone from having 3 more to having 13 more. Much better in the second half from Chelsea. And as you can see here on the graphic attack momentum page, is a lot more dominant in the second half. Maybe Chelsea. There you go. Player of the match is switched now to Estevao, which makes a lot more sense. You've got the goal and an assist. Can you go to lineups, please? There you go. Yeah, Estevao, man of the match, player of the match, which I totally endorse and agree with. It's good for him. He was blowing kisses to the Stamford Bridge faithful. So let's run through the timeline quickly. We can just talk about what this means. Hato scores a goal in like 70 seconds or something. In it, it's really quick. It's early goal. Just what you needed when you were thinking, is this going to be a horrendous banana skin for Liam Rosenior's sinking Blues? A bit of a scrappy goal from the opposition's perspective. But Hato, just the ball falls to him from a poor punch from the goalkeeper, and he's like, thank you very much. Scores his second goal for Chelsea, I believe. The first one was an absolute golazzo wildy, but not so much this one. Joao Pedro scores the second goal in the 25th minute, so it's pretty, between those goals, it was pretty meh. To be honest, between all the goals in the first half, it was pretty underwhelming play. But the Joao Pedro goal in the 25th minute, it's good, because it shows you just like the difference in the quality of player, like the way he waits for his shot, like the way he drops back, occupies the right space, waits, and then finishes. It's proper centre forward stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's nice for him. In the 42nd minute, it's a Cole Palmer shot. I guess it's not on target, and it's given as an own goal. It's a shame, because captain Cole Palmer on the day, of course. I mean, obviously no Reece James, obviously no Enzo Fernandez, no Caicedo has worn the captain's armband. No Chalobah on the pitch. So it's interesting because they could have given it to Tosin. You could have given it to Neto, really, in terms of seniority and a player who plays a lot. But Cole Palmer gets the armband, which is nice. Nice, John, I'd be interested to see how he feels to receive that responsibility. I guess a lot of Chelsea fans were hoping Cole getting the armband will make him want to sort of vibe and cook more. But he was playing in the number 10 against like a back 5, and it's like 2 blocks of 5. So when you're in that central space, it's hard to really demonstrate your ability like Cole can do. But we go into halftime 3-0 up. But it didn't feel like that much of an entertaining half. Like I said, I think we only had 6 shots. So a goal every other shot is pretty darn good, considering there's probably not even all on target. But Tosin scores a good header in the 11 minutes into the second half from a ball from Malo Gusto. It's a great play from Malo Gusto as well, and he sort of forces another goal later. I thought he had a really good game, actually. Gusto, I thought would do him the world of good, especially in the absence of Reece James being injured. And look, with the greatest of respect to Port Vale, we are playing against a bunch of like fishmongers and farmers. So Tosin gets up well, he scores a goal, and the captain on the day, you know, Cole Palmer, looked really, really delighted for his mate Tosin, who he's very close with, to have scored a goal. He jumped all over him, so that's nice. That's nice for those guys. So therefore, Liam Rosenia makes some changes. He brings off Palmer for Asugo, and it totally ruins my acca because you get sub on, play on. But the reality is, it's not really. It's probably went from a 4-3-3, from a 4-2-3 onto a 4-3-3 because we actually had Lavia, Asugo, and Santos all on the pitch. So, you know, you're not going to get that goal involvement. Like I needed Palmer to score or assist, so I was gutted when he lost that goal to an own goal. Anyway, changes from the opposition. Port Vale. Estevao, the Brazilian sensation player of the match, assists his Samba boy teammate Andre Santos in the 69th minute. 5-0, starting to feel a little bit more like a scoreline people would have predicted from now. And then the two more really was the polish to say, right, that's a nice, good win that Chelsea needed. Estevao scored. It was an offside check from Garnacho. He had hit the post like twice before, maybe? Certainly once. Looked a lot better when he moved over to the right-hand side in the second half. Gets the goal, Estevao. And in the dying embers of the game, Alejandro Garnacho off the bench wins a penalty. Pulls rank and takes the penalty. Of course, Joao Pedro is not on the pitch. Cole Palmer is not on the pitch. I think Neto is not on the pitch at this point as well. No, so, you know, I think Estevao asks for it, who, by the way, at this point has got a goal and an assist. It's not even like he's on a hat-trick. So Garnacho is like, no, I know, I'm going to take this. I've won it. You've got to go. Maybe if Estevao was on a hat-trick, Garnacho might give it to him to let him have his Chelsea hat-trick, because that would endear him to Chelsea fans. But fair play to Garnacho. He wants to score goals for Chelsea. He won the penalty. He took the penalty. He scored the penalty well and converts it for 7-0 to the Chelsea. And yeah, man, into the semi-final and over to Wembley. It's not the... it's sort of like... job well done, really, isn't it? The mood will be good. The players look happy enough. Even the player that's been suspended, and Enzo Fernandez smiling in the stand. You know, Reece James is watching on. Like, what would have been a bad? I mean, obviously, the unforgivable would have been losing. I think that was always going to be insanely unlikely. I think they're like 30-1 to win this. But, you know, I heard people preview, like neutral football podcasts previewing this game and saying, well, it's going to be an upset. It's here because of how Chelsea are playing and the mood of Port Vale in the cup run and this, that and the other. But the likelihood Chelsea are going to win. So we needed to, you know, if we'd won 2-1, say, I think it would have felt bad. Yeah. Or 3-2 or something with like, I don't know, late, you know, you had to keep Joao Pedro on for 90 minutes and this, that and the other, and we win a penalty late on and Cole Palmer couldn't, you know. There is a way where a win in this game that takes us to a semi-final at Wembley in the FA Cup, which, by the way, I'll keep saying, I'm desperate for an FA Cup. We're 2 Wembley games away from lifting the FA Cup, which I'm despo for. Like, you know, I've watched great teams fail. I watched Conte's Premier League winners at Wembley fail. You know, but like, you know, Tuchel teams and, you know, all other teams failed to win the FA Cup. If we can go and win it against the odds against probably Arsenal and City, and Man City, you know, Haaland looks like he's back, isn't he? I'll be delighted, but the truth is, you know, I can't look past Man City at the moment. But who knows? Anything's possible. So, you know, you could have won this game and still felt not great about it, even going to Wembley. So, like, what was the sort of minimum? A 3-0 win? You think, okay, it was eminently forgettable. You know, 4-0 maybe, 5-0, okay, good. 6-0, okay, yeah, pretty good. 7-0, great. Good job, boys. You know, I don't want to be unfair to Port Vale and be maybe like too dismissive of this, but the way you saw it pan out and what we were up against, yeah, you wanted a big win, you got one. You wanted a clean sheet, you got one. You wanted a Estevao man of the match, you know, award from returning from injury. You got one. You know, so like it's kind of like I'll take it all. I'm very pleased with it. No injuries. A little mood lifter. Minutes for Lavia, minutes for Sugo. You know, minutes for Kavuma McQueen off the bench as well. He didn't really get to do much, but you know, it's all sort of positive stories, really. It's good, but it don't mean much, gang. So we're going to have to move on from here and, you know, hope that they'll continue. I mean, it's the Manchester games, isn't it? That's where we'll really learn what's up with this team and where the mentality is and where the motivation is and, you know, what the briefs are and what the sporting directors are telling the manager and what the manager has been telling the players and all that stuff. But let me know what you think, gang. Please do leave your comments down below. I'm going to end it here, a little bit shorter than usual, but I feel pretty rough, man. So take care of yourselves. I'll be back tomorrow, provided I get a little bit more life force. And yeah, take it easy, friends. Take care. Peace.